complete this series in 1 month because WebSphere Application Server, if we talk about in deep, so it will at least take 20 to 30 hours to complete the whole thing, right? So once again, welcome this channel. So first we talk about what is the middleware, right? So middleware basically provide the service beyond the operating system to run your Java enterprise application, right? So how basically middleware is providing a service to run Java application? Why our operating system doesn't have a capabilities to run and host Java application, web-based application, right? So here I'm talking about web-based application, not desktop-based application. So if you talk about desktop-based application, so desktop-based application simply just you download a setup and you just click next and your setup will get installed, and after that you can start using your application, right? But in case of the web application, so we should have an environment, so here we can host our application so that that application can be accessible over the internet, right? So to achieve that kind of capability, so we should have an application server or web server in our operating system. So once we install that web server or application server in our operating system, and after that we install our web server application server in operating system, and after that we host our applications. So after that, that application can be accessible over the internet through browser or through any Java client application, right? So let's talk about what kind of middleware solutions are available in the market. So if we see, some famous tools are available like WAS. WAS is belong to IBM WebSphere Application Server, right? And WebLogic. So WebLogic is belong to Oracle, that is also an popular application server. And JBoss is belong to Red Hat, right? So in JBoss we have open source and the paid version, both version is available. So open source free version we call it as a Wildfly, and paid version we call as a JBoss application server. And we have most popular application server, that Tomcat, but Tomcat have some kind of limitation, right? So now we talk about what is the difference between web server and application server, right? So web server is also providing the capabilities to host web application, right? That's we call as a web server. But in web server there is some limitation. Let's suppose we have because in web server we have a single container that we call it as a web container, right? So what that container provide, so that container basically provide the service to, so you can execute your servlet, JSP and static content and deliver your content, right? But in, if we talk about in application server, so application server have multiple container like web container where you can run your Java servlet static content. It has EJB container, it provide EJB Java business, right? Messaging, JMS, and you can have SIP container. So lot of features are available in application server, right? So those are the major differences. And we have also web server like Apache HTTPD, that is also a web server, so that is completely to serve as in a static content, and that is also used to distribute the request to application server. So in case we are using WebSphere application server or WebLogic application server, so in like front of those application server we can put that Apache HTTPD server. So once the traffic came from the load balancer, so first that traffic will come to the Apache HTTP server, and Apache HTTP server then take those requests and it will forward those requests to the backend web application server, right? And application server is the one which will execute user request, either it is the servlet, JSP or if that require any database connection, so accordingly it will make a connection with the DB and it will retrieve a data, then again it come back and it will give response to the user, right? So that is an application server. So now moving in next slide. So product overview, topology. So what kind of topology in WebSphere Application Server? So we have a standalone server environment, we have multiple stand server environment managed through admin add-in, we have network deployment environment, installation, IBM installation manager, WebSphere Application Server 8.5.0.0 installation, IBM HTTP server installation, IBM HTTP plugin. So basically in installation part we need to install 4 component. IBM installation manager, that is again a utility from the IBM. So using that IBM installation manager utility, we will install IBM WebSphere Application Server, IBM HTTP server and IBM HTTP plugin, right? And we have like topology where we can use like a standalone environment or network deployment environment. So in further session we will see like what is the standalone server environment and what is the multiple standalone server environment or network deployment environment, right? So that you can understand like easy. And profiles, what kind of profiles are available in WebSphere Application Server? So basically profiles are basically let me define in short term. So basically the set of configuration files, so it basically define as per the required environment. So let's suppose you want to create a standalone environment, so you can use application server profile. If you want to create a deployment manager environment, so you need to choose a management type profile. So here you can create a deployment manager type profiles, right? So we have custom profile. So we will talk about these profiles in details when we like learn profiles. We have cluster, we have application deployment, data source, JDBC provider, right? So data source and JDBC provider are basically to like define the configuration so that once we deploy our application in WebSphere Application Server, so that application can basically communicate to the database, right? And the same thing is the GMS is used for the Java messaging services. Like if any application which want to like share message or receive message from any like different system, so how we can configure those things, right? So we will also learn about that. Global security, what is the security, what kind of security is available in WebSphere Application Server, how we can like secure our WebSphere Application Server environment, and what kind of user we can create, what kind of roles and what kind of like roles we can provide, like if we want to give an event to like monitor role, operator role, deployer role, configurator role. So those are the like roles available, and what kind of the like security user management we are using, like how we can configure LDAP repository to maintain user registry, right? So those things we will learn, right? And performance tuning, how like we can tune our application server so that we can achieve more throughput, right? So JVM can work as stable, and your application throughput also like balance. So right, troubleshooting, in case application server facing any issue or application facing any issue, so how we can troubleshoot, which log file we have to refer in what like scenario, right? So we will also talk about and last one is the fixed pack. So what are the fixed pack like? Because the fixed pack is most important things, because whenever like we do install our the software, so this software is also developed based on the Java language. So in case this, because this software also have some bug and issues, so IBM fix those issues, and after that they release fixed pack iFix. So we should know how we can apply the fixed pack in running environment and production environment and in QA environment, right? So we will talk about, and I will also show how we can upgrade, what kind of the like precaution we need to take before applying the fixed pack. So we will also learn those things in coming videos. And let me move to next slide. So okay, so what kind of package available in WebSphere Application Server? So we have basically three type of package available: WebSphere Express, WebSphere Base, and WebSphere Network Deployment. Right? So WebSphere Express and WebSphere Base both are the same feature-wise, but the thing is that in Express basically this is the licensed version, and WebSphere Express is kind of the free of cost. But nowadays I don't think so. IBM is like providing. It was earlier they were providing these Express and all. So Express basically it providing for standalone server profiles where you can like install to like a two limited machine or two processor. But in WebSphere Base, that is also an standalone application server in like solutions. But in case you in further you want to add that standalone profile with your network deployment, so it support those feature. And in WebSphere network deployment, that is the core product of the WebSphere application server, where you can create cluster, failover, load balancing, and you can like achieve all things as per your business requirements. So for that we will talk about in our this whole series. So let me move to next slide, and after that we will wrap up. And in case you have any doubt and all, you can ping me in chat so that I will review. So basically what is the architecture of the WebSphere application server, right? Real time. So let's suppose this is your browser means you are the client, right? Client is only accessing the browser. So let's suppose I'm accessing the like facebook.com. So how that request will go to backend application server? So when user type this browser, so it will go to talk DNS server, and it will get the IP, and again it will reach to your load balancer, and load balancer forward that request to your HTTP server. HTTP server hold the information of the plugin. So it will retrieve the information from the plugin, right? And if it matches the request, like if it is looking for the page A, if page A information is available under plugin configuration file, and plugin also have the information where to route this request. So if it will find, then it will route to the backend WAS application server, and WebSphere application server like start to process that request. If it want to talk to DB server, it will talk to DB server, and again it will come and back give response to the user browser. Same thing happen in Java client also, right? So this way basically request is traversed throughout, right? So I hope you enjoyed this session, and I will like plan accordingly. So in first sessions we will basically learn about how we install. First session we will talk about the IBM installation manager, right? So thank you guys, and thank you so much to